morning, everyone. I'm so excited that everyone is joining us. My goodness, the numbers are climbing. Welcome. We are so excited to have you for our Back to Basics series. You guys, I have the most incredible ladies on here with me today to talk to you about something that I'm really passionate about. And I'm excited to learn from these ladies because they have built the bulk of their business from asking and messaging. And so here's the deal. Get your pen and paper ready. I know that's old school, but you know, I'm about to push 40 here. And so pen and paper is the way I roll. So get ready to take some notes because these ladies, they know exactly what they're talking about and they're excited to share with you. So you guys, I really wanted to kick off this series with asking and messaging. You know, we're doing this back to basics entire Zoom series for you because so many people in this business, it's very easy to get away from the simple things that make us money. It's very easy to get away from those simple income producing activities. And not just that, but I know a lot of times as leaders, and Nicole and Brielle, I'm sure, you know, you guys fall into this too. As leaders, we've been doing this for such a long time that a lot of times we can just say things like, oh, just get your host to post up. Oh, just message 15 people. And you're like, well, what do I send? Who do I send it to? What do I do? So we really want to break those things down for you every single day so that we're not just saying follow up, send a message, host a post, but you actually get the nuts and bolts of exactly what we're going to be doing. My friends will make fun of me for using that phrase nuts and bolts, but that's all right. We're moving on. So here's what I would love for you ladies to do is just introduce yourself, give us just your quick 60-second kind of what life was like before it works and what it's like now.
Hi everyone, I am Nicole. I'm a presidential diamond, and really quickly I joined this as a dental hygiene student. The goal was just, I don't know, to be able to get my nails done and maybe get a new car. And fast forward now, I graduated hygiene school. I was working as a full-time hygienist, and honestly, I loved what I did. And I hope that sticks with you because this business is for everyone. It doesn't matter who you are, what your background is, what age you are. I loved what I did. And then I started to realize that maybe the corporate America thing wasn't for me, and maybe I wasn't made out to work for someone else. And this opportunity just kind of fell into my lap, and it turned from wanting to get my nails done and my hair done more to having the freedom to own my life and be able to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. Now I'm in about 4.5 years, and I am doing this full time. I was able to leave that corporate America job and just really live the life that I never thought, a retired lifestyle I never thought I'd be able to live. So if you're new to this, congratulations. And we're really excited to give you guys some of the best tips and tricks to really take this to wherever you want it to go.
Oh, I love that. And those teeth, girlfriend. Come on, share the tips there too. All right, Miss Brielle. Thank you. P.S. You guys, Brielle jumped in for me last minute when another girl that was supposed to do it ended up having a doctor's appointment come up. And so thank you for jumping in and being so willing to just give it all you got today. I appreciate you.
No problem. I am excited to be here. Good morning, you guys. So my name's Brielle, and I am 25 years old from New Jersey. I started this business, honestly, just to work around my busy college schedule. I was in my senior year, had a really busy semester with my thesis and everything. And I thought that this job was just going to be something to pay for my gas in the meantime and also just save up for post-graduation. And it turns out 3 years later, here I am still doing this and loving every second of it. Honestly, I had all the excuses in the book to not be successful with this. I didn't even go Ruby in the business until I was almost a year in. My enroller quit. I was really shy and awkward. I was really busy when I first joined too, because I was completing college and applying for grad schools. But it just so happened that I remember going to conference and looking at all these people on stage. And I remember having that moment where I could either quit then and think use all those excuses and just quit, or I could say, why not me? And just do the things and go for it. And I did. And that's when I started to find success in this business and really fell in love with how much fun it is too, and the absolute freedom of it, being able to work from the beach in the summertime, have my passion of helping others, because I'm also a group fitness instructor on the side. So helping people get healthy and honestly just grow my confidence, become less shy, break out of my shell, and really just live my best life that I'm so grateful for, and to be able to share it with so many other people in the process as well. And now I'm a presidential diamond. I don't think I said that yet. I just went presidential in June.
It was like right here. I was like, and she just went presidential. Just win presidential, you guys.
No big deal.
MBD, just going presidential at like, I don't know, aren't you like 14 or something? I don't know. I forget how yet. 20, 21, 24, 20, very young. So you guys, I think the main thing that I want, and hi, my name is Ashley. I'm sorry, I'm from Texas. And I started this business 9 years ago because someone had the courage to send me a message. My enroller is incredibly shy. And the fact that she would even reach out and introduce me to this incredible company is still such a gift that I'm thankful for every single day, because it's completely changed my life. So, all right, so let's jump in. I would love to know how many of you, how about this? Why don't you drop a 3 in the comments if you, or in the chat, if you came into this business because someone sent you a message. All right, if someone sent you a message, look at that. Oh my gosh. Yep. All right. So that right there really is sort of the entire underlying theme of this entire Zoom is going to be, so many people are in this business because they were asked, they were invited, they were messaged. And that's what people want. People don't just want to see an ad, click a link, and join. There are some people that do that, right? There are plenty of people that will do that. But for the most part, most people have to be introduced to and invited and asked. And you have the chance to do that every single day. And so that's what we want to talk to you guys about a little bit. So Brielle, were you sent a message? How did you decide to join? And then Nicole, I'll ask you the same thing.
So it's funny because when I joined the business, I didn't even mention this about my story. I was messaged, and I had watched a girl that was in my high school, and I was always curious. I had no idea like what the business was really about other than seeing her post, but I never joined her because she never messaged me. And then a girl had messaged me on Instagram because, like I said, I'm really into fitness and everything. And I don't know if you guys know, like Quest bar cookies. I made the cookie dough protein bar into cookies. And the girl messaged me and said, "Oh my God, that looks so good. You'd be amazing at what I do." And I joined her like within a week after she messaged me. But I really knew about the business because the other girl I had watched, but I never joined her. So it's funny because everything, like, it came full circle. That girl that actually never messaged me, she ended up quitting and then rejoining my team another time. So it's just so crazy how it all came around. But now, because of that experience, is one of the reasons why I get up and I'm excited to message every single day, because I might find my own Brielle that is just watching someone else, but I'm going to message them and they're going to join my team.
Absolutely. You know, back in the day, we had this thing, and yes, I still do it a little less now, obviously, with 2020, but we would pass out Blitz cards, and we would have this thing where we would just go out and we would give people coupons, and we would, pass out Blitz cards. And while, yes, we still do that a little bit today, most of our blitzing is online, right? Like it's showing people what we've got online. And I remember so many times going out and about and giving people a card and them saying, "Oh my gosh, I've seen this. I've been thinking about it." But I got to be the final person to sign them up because I was willing to extend the ask and extend the offer and not just post about it and talk about it. And so it's the exact same thing on social media. And I love that part of your story, Brielle, because I think it's so powerful. I mean, how many of you're posting consistently? And by the way, that's tomorrow. We have a lot of great tips for you tomorrow. But the number one thing I wrote down is posting isn't asking. We're out there posting and we're sharing, all this stuff, but we're not, that's really just like the open sign that's really the open sign okay, to our store. We want to invite people to come in. We want to be the owner that is standing at the door going, hey, come on in. I got something for you. Let's go, right? Not just turning on the sign every morning. So Nicole, what about you as far as messaging and how you got in?
So I was actually sent a message too, and fun fact, Brielle, my enroller actually quit and then rejoined me also.
No way.
So that's really funny. But I was also sent a message. The message that was sent to me was super like generic, to the point where I knew this person. I went to school with her. She was a few years younger than me, but her message was like, hey, I know you're crazy and a lot of fun, and I think you'd be really good at this. And I'm like, crazy and a lot of fun? All right, if she thinks I'm crazy and a lot of fun, that's exactly what I am. So if she thinks I'm good at this, I must be good at this. Yeah. And I waited, and she kept following up with me, which I'm sure is going to be another part of this series, is the follow-up message. But I was so scared, and I hope seeing all of those comments come through and all those, threes or whatever number with why you joined was because you got a message, really made you realize that is like bread and butter of this business. You have to get out there and ask. And fun story, this just happened 2 days ago. I had a girl from my town text me, and she said, hey, Nicole, I just joined another company and I'm looking for some social media help. You're really good at it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I know this girl really well. I'm like, may I ask why you never thought to join me? And you know what she said to me? You never asked. And I was like, yeah, come on, Nicole. Like, that's, I never asked. She watched me. She goes, I talk about you to people all the time. They're like, oh, you joined this company? What is it about? Blah, blah. She's like, well, I saw a girl from my town that was really successful with it, but I never asked her. She watched and watched and watched, but I never asked. So I was sent a message, and if I had done that one thing, she would have been on my team. But it is just so important to get yourself out there, not just with posting. And this is the consistency with posting and the consistency with messaging goes hand in hand. If you're sending messages and there's nothing on your page, people are gonna like open that message. You planted a seed, okay? If you sent me a message and I go to your page and see nothing, I'm gonna be like, what in the world she's talking about? I'm not gonna answer. But that's why it goes together, because they're going to go to your page and see that. And sending that simple message is opening that door, because it's scary to reach out to random people on social media. It is terrifying.
It is terrifying. And I want to pause right there and just, look everyone that is out there in the virtual world that's watching. I just want to like pull you all in really, really close. I've got a little coffee breath. So just imagine that, just that coffee breath, but just imagine just the warmth, right? Just pulling you in close and saying, I get it. It is flipping scary. I sweat every time I hit send. Every time I hit send, there is that little bit of like, oh, and I'm sure it's fear of rejection. I'm sure it's just the adrenaline. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. What I do know is that it's a little bit scary. And you guys, I'm an ambassador and top money earner in this company, leading Zooms for you guys about this. And I'm telling you that I'm still scared to do it. But here's the difference. I just was watching a cool thing on Maya Angelou this morning, but she was talking about how it takes fear to be brave. You have to have both, right? Bravery doesn't exist without fear. And so to be brave, it's okay that there is a little bit of fear. It means you're doing something right and important, you guys. So your brain is wired to keep you from being hurt. It's to keep you from feeling that rejection. It wants you to not feel any of that. And so it's going to give you 1 million reasons why you should not send the message. And we are here to tell you that you should feel a little bit of that. There's going to be a little bit of that. Am I wrong, girls? Are y'all backing? I think y'all are backing me up. Like, it's still sweaty, right?
What I want everyone to understand that's watching this and listening to this is it's scary for us to send that message, but it's also really scary for them to send that initial message. And that's why it's so important for us to reach out, because you don't know what's happening on the other side of that phone, computer, whatever. You don't know what's happening. And there is so much in the world, like everyone's so nervous, and it is scary both ways, but I'm sure they're a lot more scared than us. And that one single message, like Ashley said, like Brielle said, that one single message transformed our lives in a way that we never even thought. So as much as you're scared, they're probably watching thinking, oh, I'd love to message her, but it's too scary. So it's scary for them too. So that's why it's so important for you to shoot that first message and open those doors so that you can just start the conversation. It's so important.
I love that.
Yeah.
What what about you? How do you kind of deal with the, like the anxiety or the fear? You know, you mentioned being
Oh
really
yeah.
shy. Like, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, just being like an anxious person already. Definitely like every message still comes with a little bit of fear, but honestly, like something I tell myself every single day is that I'm never going to hear the word yes by just fearing the word no. And so that's what kind of hypes me up towards every single message that I send, because I know that like the work that I put in daily, like, or the lack thereof, is going to determine where I am going the next day, like the customers that I enroll the next day. So the work that I'm putting in daily, the messages that I'm sending, they're going to have a result. It's just a matter of doing it. And sometimes, like, if I'm scared to do it, or if I just get lazy and not disciplined enough, then I'm not going to have that result. And sometimes we quit too soon before actually like really giving it an honest shot. Like one day of sending a bunch of messages and you don't get a lot of responses, and you're just like, oh yeah, host to post doesn't work. Oh yeah, like, this does, whatever doesn't work. My enroller is a liar. No, guys, like we know what we're doing. Like this business is so simple if you copy the right cats. And that's kind of what my aha moment was when I went to conference, is that all these people, like, they just copy the right cats. Like you can do it. Just use these messages that your enroller is giving you and do it daily and put it into massive action. It's funny because I was listening to Grant Cardone, and he said that massive action creates more problems. So like, hey, you're gonna get more no's, like you might get more negative people, but you're also gonna get more yeses, and you're gonna get more like positive responses too. So sometimes it's like a catch 22, if that's like the correct
Oh,
phrase to it. I don't know. Like you have the good, but you also have the bad. It's just part of owning a business. If everyone told me yes by now, like I would be a double ambassador at this point, being in the business only in 3 years. But it's just not the case. Like I get no's too. Everybody does. But that's part of messaging. And you just have to think to yourself, like I said, every day, that you're not going to be scared to take that leap in message, because if you let the fear hold you back from sending that message, then you're not going to get the results that you want in the long run.
oh, I love that so much. And I just appreciate y'all's insight on that, because I think a lot of times, it's really easy to look at people that are where we want to be, that are at the levels that we want to be, or have achieved, they've achieved the success that we want, and think they must have only heard yes. They've never heard no, or they don't know what I'm dealing with, or they don't know that I've been ghosted, or they don't know that, this person was negative whenever I reached out. And so we get it. We've been there. We fight that every day. But Brielle, I loved what you said, that you'll never hear that yes without kind of stepping past the fear of the word no, knowing that yes is on the other side of all of those no's. So I love that. Okay, we're going to pivot really quickly, and let's talk about messaging as far as kind of being a numbers game. And I need to say that I need to say this first, okay? If you are brand new, if you just started, first of all, welcome. My gosh, we are so excited to have you. Thank you for saying yes to this incredible opportunity. You have a gold mine in your hands right now if you choose to work this business. That being said, if we throw out numbers that for you seem completely crazy, please know that we've worked our way up to this point. All of us started with full-time jobs, or like Brielle, being in college and still working on the side. Like, I own 2 businesses, had a 3-month-old and a 2-year-old when I started this business, was singing in a classic rock band and teaching Sunday school. Like, I get it. I could not have been busier. So I 100% understand that some of these things that I was even told at the beginning, well, you need to do this and you need to do this. A lot of times I would go, but how? Like, there's not enough time in the day. We get that. So know that if we throw out any specific numbers, we're talking about this now being our full-time job, but we worked up to these numbers. Okay. So all of that being said, Nicole, you wake up in the morning, kind of give everybody, when you sit down and you think, okay, number one, who am I going to message? Let's start there. So number one, who am I going to message? And then how many people am I going to shoot for to message daily?
So I think a big thing when it comes to who am I going to message, I want you guys to remember this. Don't overcomplicate it and don't overthink it. There is not anyone on the face of this earth that could not benefit from something that we have, whether it's a product or a business opportunity. There's no one that can't benefit from something. And that's why I love this company, and that's why I love these products. From my brother to grandma, everyone's using our products. So don't overthink it when you think who to message. I literally go on social media. I'm a big Instagram person when it comes to the business, be it Instagram, Facebook, or both. I'm pretty much Instagram. So I just go on my followers list and I literally go to the bottom and I work my way up. Now I do this full time, as Ashley was saying. So it's a little bit different, but I'm going to kind of rewind it because I feel like most of the people, the new distributors that are coming into this incredible business, you're busy. I was actually working 55 hours a week and I was still in the top 150 income earners. So I'm going to tell you what I was doing at that time because I think it's going to resonate a little bit more with you. Yep. I made number goals. I'm very goal oriented. So at this point, I probably message like 100 people a day to 150, which is a lot. This is my full time. But back in the day, this is exactly what I did. I made goals to message 10 people an hour as much as I could. I was a dental hygienist, gloved up in mouths. Every hour I couldn't do it. But when I could, I made it work. So this is what I did. I woke up 10 minutes before I needed to every single day. And if my alarm needed to go off at 7, I was up at 6:50 and I made sure I got up and I sent out messages and I did my things. And then when I got to work, if a patient canceled, I'd send out 10 more messages. And then when I had my lunch break, we don't want you to separate your life just for this business. We want you to still have fun. If you follow me on social media, you know I have a lot of fun still. So don't like shut out your life. I spent my half an hour lunch break, 10 minutes, sending out messages and doing my things, and the other 20 minutes chatting with my coworkers because that's what I loved to do. If you shut out everyone and just be all business, you're going to start to resent it, right? So then this is another big thing. If I could sneak to the bathroom at work, I'd send 10 more messages. And now we're at 30, 40 messages for the day. When I got out of work, I would sit in my car, and before I took off, you all know, you get in your car after work and you're like, get me home. Like, I just want to be home. Sit there for 10 minutes and send 10 more messages, send 20 more messages. And then when you get home, you have the time and you could do it there, in between. But when you're a new distributor, I would set a goal for yourself to send 10 an hour, as many hours as you can. Don't beat yourself up if you can't do it every single hour. But if you're sitting on the couch watching TV, you can do it. Don't let that be, oh, I can't do it right now. I'm watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Like, you know what I mean? Do it as much as you physically can and break it up into little bits of time throughout the day and just get out as many as you possibly can. And when you break it up, it feels a lot easier.
I agree. I know sometimes for me, whenever I sit down and I think, okay, I have to send out messages today, sometimes that feels super daunting versus just having like a little alarm set in my phone that every hour goes off and it'll say it's the last 10 minutes of the hour and it'll say message. And it's nice because then it reminds me, it's that quick reminder. And so a lot of times I'm getting out that 50 to 100 messages a day easily because I'm being reminded all throughout the day. And again, it's just full focus. I don't know about you guys. I put my phone on do not disturb whenever I message so that I have no distractions. I don't get caught up in this text or in that phone call or whatever it might be. So I don't know if that would help you guys too, but I know that's a little trick that I've got whenever it's messaging time or follow-up time and I am ready to do this for a while or a lot of voice messaging, then you guys, the phone goes on do not disturb. Just even for those 10 minutes, it will help tremendously. So I appreciate you saying that, Nicole, because that's really the message I want to get across is that, again, this being our full time today, but it's definitely going to look different that we can sit down and we've got, 8 hours, just like you're going to work 8 hours, we've got 8 hours that we're working on this business at home if we want to. So it's going to look a little bit different. Here's the thing. Do what you can. Don't listen to anything that any leader is saying and say, well, I can't do that because I can't work on my phone for 8 hours a day. I know a lot of you are teachers or nurses or, you have to put your phone in a locker, some of you, and you cannot look at it for hours at a time. I get that. We're not asking you to completely change your life. We're telling you that this business can work within those pockets of time if you allow it to. But if you go into this business saying, I'm too busy, I can't do this, I don't know what I was thinking, then guess what? You're going to find a million reasons not to work this business. Or just like all of us that were insanely busy, we just chose to find those pockets of time and say, you know what I want in the future is more important to me than what's right in front of me right this second. And so I know for me, that was a big part of it. Was I was so busy. I didn't want to be that busy. I wanted to enjoy life more, and I wanted more of that freedom of time, which is why I took the extra time and made those time investments. I don't call them sacrifices. They were absolutely investments into my future. So know that every time you're sending that out, it's an investment into your business that's going to be paying you back later. All right, Brielle, what about for you?
I kind of want to talk to the people that say they're busy, but they're busy doing the wrong things.
I love it. I love it.
That was me at one point in time when I had just graduated college. I had a lot of time on my hands, and I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, I have all the time in the day to work my business. And all of a sudden it was 8 o'clock and I had gotten nothing done. And sometimes, like, yeah, you are busy, but you're doing the wrong things. Like, don't be afraid to go and send those like bathroom messages. Like, I literally would be out with my friends, and like I wasn't afraid to take an extra couple minutes in the bathroom to send 10 messages from the bathrooms to get to hit my goal for the day of messages that I needed to send. Like, get it done. Like, however you're going to get it done, just get it done, because you know, those 10 messages that maybe you don't send because you're not disciplined enough could seriously make the difference. And you know, if you're busy scrolling through TikTok or whatever, like watching The Bachelor, whatever it is, like you're really not that busy. You're just not being disciplined. And I remember that year I made my word for 2018 when I like went Ruby and then started progressing in this business. I made it discipline. And I found a really good definition of discipline. I wanted to read to you guys really quick because I found it honestly like perfect for this, because if you're disciplined, then you're going to find the time to make those messages or send those messages no matter how busy you actually are. And it just says discipline is what you use to complete any activity until the activity, regardless of how uncomfortable it may be or challenging, becomes a normal operating procedure. In order to ever obtain and keep success, you must determine what habits are constructive and then discipline yourself and your group over and over again until it becomes a discipline. So same thing happens with messages. Like, I used to set myself alarms, and it was like, you know, every single day my alarm would go off like certain times of the day to send out my messages. But eventually, like, those alarms just became habits for me. Like I said, like now I will send messages from wherever. Like, I'll procrastinate to go into the gym for 5 minutes and send out another batch of messages. Like, I'm procrastinating anyway, sitting on my phone usually because I don't want to go in there. But I just send messages during that time. So it just takes the discipline to start. And your leaders, I saw a lot of messages like, what messages do you send? Like, your leaders will provide you with what you need. And then it just takes you to actually put that into action and keep the discipline daily. And eventually, you know, if you have to set yourself alarms, those things are going to become habits for you. And you're just going to be used to doing it every day. You're just going to wake up and start sending messages and be like, this is fun. You get into a routine and it just becomes so simple.
No, it's so good, Brielle. And I wrote this down. So I know some of you were asking. I actually had to hide the chat. My computer's set up very weird right now because I'm so ADD. But I am 99.9% sure that there are at least 50 people that have said, but what do I send? But what do I say? So let's start there. I want to tell you, I want to give you two, I'll probably give you more than two tips, but let me just start here. The very first thing I would tell you is that and I heard this quote and it rings so true. So if you're brand new, I want you to hear this. You cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. You cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. You guys, my first message from Tiffany, my enroller, who is also an ambassador, an incredible friend. I'm so grateful to her for signing me up. The very first message, you guys, if I could pull that up and send it to you, it is laughable. And I'm saying that in love because I love Tiffany dearly, but we laugh about it all the time. You guys, first of all, it was about 948 paragraphs long. It took me 7 days to read it pretty much. It was such a long message. There was so many details. It was all over the place. It was grammatically incorrect. I mean, there was literally reading this message now, we laugh so hard because that just isn't the type of messages that we send anymore, right? But here's the deal. She couldn't say the wrong thing to the right person. I'm an opportunist. I'm an entrepreneur. I owned 2 businesses before this. So even though I was busy, I heard opportunity. I heard crazy product that people might want, right? I heard another way to make money. And so that's what made me join. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. That's the first thing I want to remind you of. The second thing I will tell you is that you have to be yourself. We have all these scripts. There is so much out there. And you guys, I think that scripts are great. I really do. I think they're a great starting off point. But let me give you a couple of examples. I have ladies on my team. We all speak similarly and different, right? Very same, but different. I have girls on my team that use the word honey and babe. And it kind of makes me throw up in my mouth a little bit. I can't take it. I don't like it. Because when someone calls me hun or babe, I'm like, okay. I like immediately like have a physical reaction. Here's the deal. Those girls out enroll me every month and I'm a pretty good enroller. So you can't say the wrong thing to the right person because that's how they speak. That's what they say. That's what they would say in person. So that's what they're saying in their message. I say other things that my team is like, yeah, I don't talk like that. And I'm like, that's okay. Talk like you. And that was it. And they were like, well, what is it? I have no clue. Well, how does it work? No clue. Have you tried it? Nope. We'll figure it out. Like because that's who I am and that's how I talk. So when I was talking to my friends and my family, that wasn't weird for them to hear, oh, Ashley's always got something up her sleeve. But if you were to send that may sound completely not right for you. Does that make sense? So while we have all these scripts, please hear me, you guys, they are a guideline. They're a starting point. They are a beginner point for you to kind of take some of the best parts that you like and create your own. We are not trying to create robots in this company. It will not feel right. It won't sit right. You won't want a message because it doesn't feel like you. So there's my spiel on what to send, and that what you send, honestly, I feel like is less important than how you send it, which is with excitement, with passion, and with authenticity. So start there. Are you excited? Are you being authentic? Those are the 2 things that I feel like people can hear and read way more than, hey babe, hey honey, you're pretty, join my team, right? Like, talk like, if that's how you talk, great. But if that's not how you speak, don't feel like that's what you have to say, right? So these scripts and things that you'll see, they're a guide. They're a starting off point. They have to sound like you. Does that make sense? So it's hard. I don't have any feedback. I'm used to like in person and panels and like, I got no feedback. I can't see people's faces. So, all right, Nicole, can you speak a little bit on that as far as what you say?
I love everything you just said because I can give you guys a little insight on me when I first joined this. I was a dental hygienist. I wasn't per se a struggling person. My bills were paid. I love money and I wanted more of it, bottom line. And I felt like I had to fit this mold of being a broke college student because I was a new grad, of being a broke college student and of being, all these things. I thought I had to fit this mold. So I really just did everything I thought I had to. And if there's one thing I can drill into your head, it's you are you for a reason, and you are put on this world, on this earth to be you. And we are all different. We're the 3 of us are all pretty crazy. So we're similar, but if that's not you, then that's not you. And I understand what Ashley's saying with the babe thing. I personally put people's names in every single message. So if I'm going to shoot Brielle a message, I'm going to say, hey, Brielle. It instantly makes it a little more authentic right there. But again, if you're into the mass doing it and you want to say babe, go for it. But I think that putting someone's name in it, instantly you get a little bit more credibility. In the bulk of my messages, if I'm messaging someone for a product, I simply say, hey, I have amazing products that I know you would absolutely love. And this is off the top of my head, so don't like jot it down exactly, but I have amazing products that I know you would love. And I love saying, would you be open-minded to hearing more about what I have to offer? I can even give you my discount. Would you be open-minded to hearing more? I'll even say it twice. Would you be open-minded? Because I feel like that just makes people, no one really wants to say no to being open-minded. Even if they're,
I'm super closed-minded, Nicole. I don't want to.
Nobody
wants to say that.
Like if you're like, would you be interested? That gives them opportunity to say no. It gives them opportunity to do whatever. But to say, are you open-minded? People are gonna be like, darn it, yeah, I gotta be open-minded.
I love that.
And it just opens the doors a little bit more. One thing that I do want to drill into your head is it's okay for people to not answer you. It's okay for people to read that message and not be open-minded and just not answer. And it's okay for people to say no. But this is where massive action gets massive results. The more you get out, the more no's you get, you're closer to a yes. No's are great. If you haven't read the book, Go for the No, I encourage you to get it because it really teaches you. I think in this world, and especially like our generation, we are so scared of rejection, and that's normal. But that book really teaches you that no's are great. Every time I get a no, I'm like, here comes a yes, baby. Here it comes. Here it comes. Like
I'm not distracted. I'm looking for it to show them because I usually have it here on my desk. But go ahead.
It's a great book, and it really helps you realize that no's are okay and people not answering are okay. You know why? Because you planted that seed, and this comes back to the consistency with messaging and posting. You planted that seed, they looked at your page, now your algorithm's boosting a little, now your posts are gonna show for them, and when you're consistently with it, it might take a couple months, and they're like, hey, this actually just happened to me last week. Hey, I know you messaged me like a year and a half ago about some products, but I just saw blah, blah, blah on your page, and I love coffee and blah, 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 all that good stuff. Tell me more about it now. I planted that seed, I was in her head, and now because of my consistency with posting and with the messaging, it just happened, and now she's a customer. So just go for the no. Massive action gets massive results, but be authentically you and don't feel like you have to fit this mold of, I mean, back in the day, I used to think, well, I don't live close to the beach. I don't have all these bright, pretty palm trees and all my pictures and all of that stuff. I felt like I had to fit this mold. And then I realized that Cassie and Nayara and all these girls went Ambassador Diamond living in Connecticut where our beaches look like puddles. And that's just us. So get out there and put yourself out there and be you and be excited. And with exclamation points and emojis, you know, when you get a text message from like whoever your significant other and you're like, do you have an attitude there? And you just feel it through the text. People, it's the same way with the message. They want to see those exclamations. I'm this excited all the time. Yeah. Even in my messages, you would know because I use exclamations and I use emojis and I'm fired up. Your excitement will pour into people, whether you're voice texting or just messaging. So be you and be excited.
I love that, Nicole. I wrote that down, open-minded. I think that's so good. I don't use that with the products. I only really have ever used it with the business, but I love the idea of, are you open-minded to taking a look at the products that I offer? I can even give you my discount. I love that. All right, Brielle, talk to us. So what kinds of things are you sending?
Honestly, so I just want to say first, like, I don't believe in cold messaging. Like every time I send a message to someone, I make sure that I've like interacted with them in some way, shape, or form first, like whether it be saying happy birthday on Facebook or swiping up on their story or liking one or two of their Instagram pictures. So on Instagram, like I usually always make sure like I'll go back on their page before I message them and see that I've like done one of those things. And when I message people on Instagram, I message a lot for the opportunity. And I pretty much use the same message. It just says something along the lines of, okay, I'm sure you've probably gotten this message a million times, but I was just low-key creeping on your page, like without being creepy. And I think that you'd be amazing at what I do. I'm just curious, have you ever considered, doing what I do to make an extra income from social media? And sometimes people don't answer. Sometimes I actually have to go back on their most recent picture and just say like, hey, I sent you a message, check your inbox. Sometimes people do answer and they say no, and then I turn them into a host to post on Instagram. Just say like, no worries, like would you be willing to throw up a quick slide for me in exchange for an entry? So I do that a lot too. Like whenever people tell me no, I message them and turn them into like a host to post. So on Facebook, most of the people that I'm messaging, I've already talked to about the product. And usually I just say like, hey, whatever their name is, I have a quick question for you, random question, not trying to get you to buy or sell anything. And then they'll reply and be like, what's up? They usually laugh at it. And I'll respond like, I'm working on a big promotion right now. I tell them whatever our giveaway is as a team. Would you be willing to throw up a quick status for me in exchange for an entry? Like simple as that, guys. Like it doesn't need to be an extremely long message. I remember when I first started, my messages were like pages long. I was like, how did anyone even read that? I don't know. It's probably why I didn't get a lot of messages back, but try and keep it short and sweet. And then I'll just message them, and usually I'll go through my active at the top of Facebook. It's usually the people that you've talked to pretty recently about the products. And I'll always give my potential customers a status for whatever product that we are talking about. Like I have a lot of clients potentials for the Thermalfight X. And so I always give them the Thermalfight X post to post, because that way it's kind of like refreshing in their mind. Hey, I'm interested in it. And if they're interested in it, they're probably going to have some friends that are interested in it too, just like based on their demographics and everything. So that's really the messages that I send daily. And it's always people that I've already talked to. Usually it's not just like randomly out of the blue. Sorry, I don't know if I just froze or not. It looked like it. And it's usually people that I've have as potentials already. So those are the basic messages.
No, it's so good. And you guys, I think, you know, a lot of things, I mean, a lot of the times I try to teach my team that, look, if someone was standing face to face to you, what would you say? That's how you need to type. That's how you need to talk to them. So if I run into someone in the grocery store and I haven't seen them in a while and I want to talk to them about my business, what am I going to say? Right? That's what I want to type. I don't want it to feel like it's not me. And we will never ask you to go out and be a robot. I promise you that. So remember though, that the invitation is what's going to get you the yes. People can't say yes to a question they haven't been asked. So you have to ask the question. Are you open to more? That's my favorite thing. That's my favorite line is, you know, like Brielle said, here's a couple of things that I'll send. And again, this, like we said, this is spitballing. I don't want to just read a script, but it would be something like, hey, Nicole, I've been following you on social for a while, not in a creepy way, but in like a, you know, in a fangirl way. And I think that, you know, I think you're adorable. And I know you've got a great personality. I don't know if you'd ever be open to, you know, open-minded to taking a look at the business that I do, but I work from my phone and I'm always looking for positive, gorgeous gals that would, you know, maybe be interested in making income from their phone too. Could I just send you some info and see if it would be a good fit? That's usually my line at the end. Would it be okay if I sent you some information and let's see if it's a good fit? Or I love to use the word no pressure. That's actually my other word that I say a lot. Could I send you some no pressure info and just see if it would be a good fit for you? And here's the other deal I'll tell you with questions and with messaging, and we'll talk about this a lot with follow-up. Always, always, if possible, end with a question. Give them something that they have to answer. If it ends with a period, then a lot of times it's very easy to just not respond. So you think about the number of times you've sent a message where you've asked a question and you've been ghosted or nobody's responded to it, right? Well, what about the ones where there's no question at the end? That's even worse. So try, if at all possible, for the very last thing you send as you're messaging people to be something with a question mark at the end of it, right?
That is something that I teach my whole team also, is always end with a question. And just to go off of that, if you don't know, literally don't know what kind of question to throw in there, end it with, how does that sound? That is a simple way. If you can't think of anything else to question, say, how does that sound? And you've ended it with a question and they feel like they should respond versus just a period. But if you're like, how do I turn this, somehow tweak it? How does that sound?
I love that. I love that. Okay, so it is about time for us to wrap up. I knew this one would be just a little bit longer, which you guys, this was blank. I've jotted down so many notes. I appreciate you guys. But I just want to end, with some encouragement for you guys that you are going to get no's. You are going to send really bad messages probably when you're starting out. You're going to send ones that you laugh at. Every one of us has laughed at ourselves, right? For the messages that we sent out at the beginning. But the thing is that you have to do it. I don't know what, I want to grab you guys. The coffee breath's even stronger now. It's more sips. All right. I just want to bring you guys in and I want to say, you got this. Like, you can do it. You just have to do it. I wish there was another way to success in this business. There is not, because this is why whenever I was laying out this series, I thought, what are we going to do? What is the very first thing we're going to talk about? And I thought about self-development, and I thought about consistency and all the, follow up and all the things we're going to be talking about. And it was so glaringly obvious that the very first thing you've got to do in this business is invite. And if you want to call it messaging, asking, I don't care. I like to think of it as inviting. Who did I invite to take a look at my business today? If the answer is no one, then I have not done my job, right? Who did I invite? Because it's not my job to make people say yes. It's not my job to stress about the numbers. It is my job to invite, right? It's my job to invite, and whoever wants to say yes to more info or learning more, then that's on them. But it's my job to invite. So, Nicole, kind of closing thoughts here to get people pumped up and get ready to go message.
Well, get yourself out there, because when you first get that, when you get that first yes, it's going to feel amazing. And you're going to get that, like I always say, like the yes high or the enrollment high when you get your first customer. It's going to feel great, and it's going to want you to do more. Don't get discouraged. It's okay if people say no, and it's okay if people don't answer, but there are people out there that don't know about this business. I moved recently to South Carolina, and I've signed new distributors in this area that have never heard of this business, which blows my mind. It literally blows my mind. They have never heard of this business. There are so many people on and off social media that don't know what we have. Get out there, put it in front of them, and just do all the things. But just remember, it's okay to mess up. That's how you learn. We all started at start, and nothing great comes in your comfort zone. So just get out there and do it, because massive action now is going to pay off. And I love that you said you don't count them as sacrifices. You count everything you're doing as an investment. And I want you to think about that, because it's going to feel like right in the beginning, you're not getting the results you want. But I promise you, working at it every single day and messaging and getting more people into your network every day is going to pay off. The only way to not be successful at this is to not work at it or to give up. So I love you. Congrats on joining. And it's going to be awesome.
I love it. Thank you, Nicole. What about you, Brielle?
I know Cami always gives like little call to actions at the end of family calls. So I think it'd be cool for everyone, just send your enroller, send your upline. If you don't know who your upline is, guys, like figure out who even your ambassador upline is. Like there's going to be people that can help, sideline sisters, whoever, like there's always someone that you can reach out to. Get into the Road to VIP page. You're going to find people. So send them a message and be like, hey, okay, so I just got off this Zoom with Ashley, Nicole, and Brielle, and I want to send out some messages. Like, I want to go for this. And ask them like what messages you can use, and then stay consistent with that for at least a week, guys. Like at least a week. Don't just do it for today and then say, yeah, it doesn't work. Do it for at least a week, and you're going to be signed. Like a week brings us into past the middle of the month, guys. So like you're going to have all these potentials coming in like a week later. So start today, and then I promise like the results are going to, your reward is going to come in the end. But send them a message right now, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Celebrate. Yeah, go.
Make sure you're super active in your group, in your Facebook groups and the Road to VIP group. It's leaders like us that are pouring into you, because we truly want each and every one of you to be just as successful as us. That's why I love this business, because it's not only the people at the top. You can join today and work harder than all of us and beat us. Like it's not about beating. I know I just said that, but it's not about that. We all want every single one of you to be as successful as us. So those Facebook groups are where we get to pour into you like this. Stay active in the Facebook chats, especially the Road to VIP group, and just do all the things and watch all the trainings that you possibly can, and stay connected and close to the fire, because there's nothing more powerful than being inspired. And there's nothing more powerful than watching all these Zooms, because it might not be my story or Ashley or Brielle. It might be someone completely different. And if you didn't get on the Zooms and stay close to the fire, you might not hear that one story that just makes you take off.
Absolutely. I love it so much. You guys, I wrote this down at the very beginning, and I didn't know if I was going to share it, but I really want to. My very first person that I messaged set up a meeting with me for coffee the very next day. So I messaged her on a Sunday afternoon, and she said, yes, I'll listen. Let's talk. I had sent her that I'm about to make $1 million. So we go have coffee at 9 a.m. Well, luckily, another girl had also said, what are you getting into? And I was like, I don't really know. And she's like, well, what's the product? I was like, it's these fat patches. I think they're cold and smell like icy hot. And I don't know, like, I think they work. I'm not sure. I haven't even tried it. She's like, okay, I'll meet with you. So somehow she says yes. So I have a meeting at 9 a.m. and I have a meeting at 10 a.m. So at 9 a.m., I sit down, I meet with this girl, and you guys, she was like the top esthetician in our town, just stunning and knows everyone. And I was like, she's going to be the key to my business exploding. She's going to be the first leader and I'm going to do this. So you guys, I go in and I was 9 days into the business, but I gave the presentation of my life. I mean, it was stellar. It was amazing. I knew I nailed it. I was so excited. I had done my research. I'd memorized all this crap that I needed to know and all these levels and how much money you can make and all about the product. And you guys, we get to the end of the meeting and I was so hyped and I was like, here we go, cue the tears, time for you to, you know, Sarah McLachlan music and the little pets on this. Like I have this whole thing in my head that she's about to say yes. And she was like, yeah, so I don't really think this is like for me. I can see where it's for you, but like it's not for me. And so like you do you, but like I'm gonna do me. And then she left with her latte. And y'all, if I could just take you back to that moment and let you feel the crushing weight of that no, I have never felt rejection so hardcore in my life. It hurts so bad. I got tears in my eyes. I'm not kidding. Like I was devastated. And I was packing up my stuff because I literally was so sad. I had forgotten that I had a 10 o'clock that was meeting me next. And luckily, in she comes into the Starbucks. I can still picture her. And I was like, hey, you know, low energy, super sad, very defeated. Like, yeah, what was I even thinking? Like, why did I think I could do a business like this? And she walks over, she sits down at the table and she goes, without even letting me speak, she was like, hey, here's the deal. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're selling, but I'm down. I need the money. My car is about to fall apart. And I need $350 a month. Can I make that? Can I make $350 a month? And I just looked at her and I was like, I think so. I don't know. I haven't made any money yet, but I think we can. And so I pull out the little deal and I'm showing her a couple of the levels and the income disclosure and all that stuff. And I'm showing her that, or the average income chart. And she goes, let's do it. What do you need? Like my credit card, my social, what do you need? You guys, and she was the first yes. And that, yes, I almost want to cry thinking about the fact that had I not had her next up, had she not walked through the door, that one no almost took me out. And that one no almost changed my entire business. But that one yes that came next did change my business because she went presidential in 6 months and was the reason that I was able to go ambassador in 7 months, you guys. So I need you to hear that on the other side of that no is going to be a yes. And so if you need to remember that story, that crazy girl that sweats too much and drinks coffee the whole time she's talking, remember that, okay? That on the other side of every single no, there is going to be a yes, but we have to keep asking. So I love you guys. I am praying for y'all as you message, as you go out and you invite people and you ask them to take a look at this opportunity. Be authentic, be yourself, go out with love and passion and excitement. And I promise you the right people are going to come if you stay consistent with this. So thank you for your time. We love you guys. We're rooting you on, okay? Nicole, Brielle, I love y'all. I appreciate you so very much and all your wisdom today.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, guys.